Today's Dallas Cowboys video is a look at some potential cut and maybe trade candidates. Allow me to explain why in October I'm looking at cut candidates. It's actually very simple. It's a numbers game that I've mentioned many a time before here on the Cowboys Report. Dallas has several key players set to return, and they don't have the roster spots to add them. La'el Collins, your assumed starting right tackle, coming back from suspension. Kelvin Joseph, Sean McKeon, designated to return from IR. Michael Gallup should be back soon. At some point, you'll get Neville Gallimore, DeMarcus Lawrence back. You might, no guarantee, might get Josh Ball, Francis Bernard, and yes, Tristan Hill off the PUP list. That's 9 guys who could come back at some point this year. Now, I think what's more likely is maybe it's 6. But that's 6 roster spots the Cowboys have to clear in the next month to 2 months, probably maximum, to get your numbers down. Now, there will probably be some injuries. That number might come down a little bit, but you're probably going to have to cut somebody with the likely hope you get them on the practice squad. So with that in mind, before I get to my list of players here, name a player who you think ends up getting cut. Get your votes in for me right now in the comments section. All right, my first name, one you're not going to like, but I'm sorry, Simi Fehoko. He has been inactive for several games, and that's always a good spot to look for, hey, who could get cut. He is not a special teams contributor. He is a developmental receiver who was not that great in the preseason. He is a prime cut candidate when Michael Gallup comes back, because look at this Cowboys roster. You've already got 6 receivers. When Gallup comes back, Wilson, Brown, and Turner have been playing over Fehoko in large part because of the special teams value that they sit with. So that is a situation here for the Dallas Cowboys. I think the likely cut candidate here is Simi Fehoko. But what do you guys think? Would you cut Fehoko? Get your votes in for me in the comments section. Y for yes, N for no. Would you cut him? This is the pinned comment on today's video, so get your votes in right now if you get the ad break here on YouTube. Next up is Azur Kamara, and we'll spend some time on 2 defensive ends here, by the way. Kamara, the Hard Knocks star, if those of you who bothered to watch it this year, has been a special teamer for Dallas. I think he has some support within the Cowboys organization, the coaching staff as well. He does not help you very much on defense. What I think the Cowboys will consider here, with Dorrance Armstrong on the roster set to return, is do they need Kamara? Because Randy Gregory, Terrell Basham, Armstrong, Golston, Lawrence, once he's back, and really even Bradlee Anae, they're all better defenders right now than what Azur Kamara is. So you could go that route. But if you want to let John Fossil run the back end of your roster as he has, Kamara brings more special teams help than Bradlee Anae does. So although this pains me, Bradlee Anae, who was inactive against the Patriots, is somebody you have to consider here. Now, he offers you more help on defense as a pass rusher. I would rather keep him. But you could see a scenario in which Anae gets released with the hope they can sneak him on the practice squad like the Cowboys tried and ended up failing with Brandon Knight. So pick one to cut for me. Type BA for Bradlee Anae or type AK for Azur Kamara. I know it's not fun, but when DeMarcus Lawrence comes back, I doubt they roster all these guys. The numbers game is a bit tough. So get your votes in for me in the comments section. Today's show helped out by our friends over at BetUS. You can get a 125% deposit bonus when you go to chatsports.com/bet and use promo code Cowboys125. $100 in, boom, extra 100 for free, or 125 for free on top of that. If you want to put some low reward, low risk bet out there, how about Dallas to win the NFC East? We're 6 games in, and their odds are -2,000. Their odds, I think, in week 1 were like minus 115 or 120 or something. Eagles are plus 1,000. Washington plus 1,600. The Giants plus 5,000. A massive figure from that perspective. So if you want to place a low reward, low risk bet, Dallas win the division. Get some free money. Chatsports.com/bet. Promo code Cowboys125. How about a quarterback now? Will Grier. Now, there is a supporting member of the Cowboys coaching staff, Doug Nussmeier, coached him at Florida. There's that connection. But Grier has been inactive each week. This is probably one of my bigger stretch names on this list because the Cowboys like carrying 3 quarterbacks on the active roster. But remember, Will Grier is behind Cooper Rush right now. I don't know exactly where he's at in his development, his playbook learning and getting up to speed there. Maybe there's some change during the bye week at that perspective, but he is quarterback 3 right now. So if you guys want more Cowboys news and rumors, hit that big red button and subscribe. Daily videos on everything going on around America's team. Don't miss out. Between me and the Boys and Girls Show with Jane Slater and Bobby Belt, we've got you guys covered every single day, normally multiple times a day. So hit that big red button and subscribe right now. Let's go to a safety. No, not the one who got arrested. I'll explain why in a minute. Israel Mukuamu, though, even though I like him, I liked him at South Carolina, high on him in the draft, love the draft pick there. He was inactive last week, as he's been for several games now for Dallas. He made the roster, as I wanted, after a strong preseason. But you're getting Kelvin Joseph back in the near future. That means there are going to be 12 defensive backs on your roster. Trayvon Diggs, he's sure as hell not getting cut. Anthony Brown, doesn't really make sense to cut him. He's starting for you after all. Jordan Lewis, Maurice Kennedy, valuable players. Deshaun Wright is a third back. You're not going to cut the third-round pick. And C.J. Goodwin is a core special teamer. At safety, you've got Donovan Wilson. Maybe end up moving on from DeMonte Casey, but I doubt with his DUI arrest because what are you doing, DeMonte? Jerron Kearse, Hooker, they're all playing over Mukuamu. I don't want to cut him because I do worry about him maybe getting claimed. But I think the Cowboys will be forced, a good problem to have, to play we got to cut one of our late-round picks mid-season and hope we get him on the practice squad. So with that in mind, who would you be most worried about? The names I've discussed so far, who would you be most worried about cutting? Get your votes in for me right now in the comments section. Another similar name here, because cutting the big expensive guys doesn't make sense midseason, I'm sorry, is Quinton Bohanna. He has been a part of the defensive tackle rotation, the last remaining hope of the Fatties Only campaign. But as a 6th-round rookie, if we're being objective and honest here, he's played a bit like a 6th-round pick. He is still a work in progress. He's probably the one you would look to cut later, maybe when Neville Gallimore returns. Because Odigizua, you're not cutting him. Carlos Watkins has played key snaps for you. I love Gallimore coming back long-term. Brent Urban, a bit banged up, but he's been a key part. So if there are no more injuries, I don't know if they'd carry 5 defense tackles, since you can kick some guys inside and like blitzing Gregory and Parsons in terms of that situation as, stand-up inside linebackers line up over the A-gap. So I think DT could be an area in which the Cowboys choose to look at. Now we'll also look at some long shot trade candidates. Guys that if you wanted to go get a big-time splash and get a player back, picks don't help you in most cases outside of maybe Dorrance Armstrong. I would look at, if you get a great player back, I would consider, probably wouldn't do it, but I consider a trade of Lael Collins or Michael Gallup. If you go get a splash corner, I could look at an Anthony Brown at that point. Dorrance Armstrong, meanwhile, ends up being a player who, if you want to keep Bradlee Anae and Azur Kamara, it could be a situation where maybe you shop Dorrance Armstrong, get something back, and allow Basham and Parsons and Anae to be your backup edges once DeMarcus Lawrence comes back.